Welcome to the deep dive. Just take a moment, look around you. Screens are, well, they're absolutely everywhere, aren't they?
Uh-huh. Completely unavoidable.
And for our children, this isn't just like a small part of their lives, it is the landscape they're growing up in. So different from even just 10 years ago.
Massively different.
But the question is, how well do we really understand what's happening? These huge shifts in their digital lives, what does it all actually mean?
Yeah, the real implications.
So today we're doing a deep dive. We're looking into some recent reports, lots of research actually, about how kids are using media, what they think about it, and the psychological side of their online lives.
That's right. And our job today really is to try and cut through some of the noise.
Hmm.
We want to pull out the key insights from, well, quite a few different sources.
Okay.
We've got Ofcom's big Children and Parents, Media Use and Attitudes report. There's analysis from the NCBI on the positives and negatives of social media for kids.
Oh.
Then there's work from Newport Academy looking specifically at teen social media addiction. And a study from IJRCT focused on the psychological impact of cyberbullying.
Wow. Okay. So a broad range.
Yeah, exactly. The aim is to give you, our listeners, a clearer, maybe more nuanced picture of the challenges, but also the opportunities that young people are facing online today.
Okay. So let's get into it. Let's unpack this. The first thing that really kind of jumps out is just how completely integrated kids are now. Online life isn't separate. It's just life.
Absolutely. That's the core insight, really. Digital engagement isn't just an activity anymore. It's basically the background condition of being a kid today.
Yeah.
We're talking nearly every child aged 3 to 17 going online. That's, what, 96%? And for teenagers, 12 to 15, it's over 99%. It's practically universal.
Over 99%.
It's the new baseline, not a trend anymore.
It's just such a massive shift, isn't it? When you think back, like 2005, only about half of 8 to 11s, maybe two-thirds of teens, were online at home. And usually on a shared family computer, right? For maybe, 3.5 hours a week on average?
Yeah, sounds about right. Very different.
Compare that to now. Little kids, 3 to 11, mostly on tablets. Older kids, 12 to 17, it's all about the mobile phone.
Oh.
And pretty much every kid has one by age 11, 9 out of 10. It really is a mobile-first personal device childhood.
And, what's kind of fascinating and also quite troubling is that even with this huge spread, this feeling that everyone is online,
Yeah.
it masks a digital divide that's still very much there. We can't ignore it. A really significant chunk of parents, about 1 in 3, with school-aged kids.
1 in 3, wow.
Yeah, they report their child doesn't have continuous access to a device that's actually suitable for online schoolwork, and that number's gone up since 2021.
Gone up. You'd think it would go down.
You would, wouldn't you? But no. And for about 4% of all school kids, this means schoolwork gets put off or it's just impossible to do.
Gosh. So, okay, the digital world feels totally encompassing, but there's this real inequality underneath. What does that actually mean for a kid's chance to, flourish, as the reports put it, flourish in this online life? That's key to media literacy, right?
It raises a huge question, doesn't it? We keep talking about media literacy being essential for thriving online. But how can you even start to develop that if you lack the basic tools, the consistent access? It's not just about having any old device. It's about having the right device, reliable access to actually take part in what's become, well, fundamental for education, for social life, everything.
That's a really stark reminder. Okay, so deep divides persist.
Yeah.
But let's shift gears slightly because it's important to say it's not all bad news.
No, definitely not.
For many kids, the online world is genuinely a place for, well, amazing growth and connection.
Yeah.
What are some of those key benefits they're actually getting?
It absolutely is, and that's crucial. What really stands out from the research for me is the power of social connection. Nearly 7 out of 10 young people, say 8 to 17.
70% almost.
Yeah, they tell us social media, messaging apps, they help them feel closer to their friends. And for most older teens, 12 to 17s, they see it as actively beneficial for making or keeping friendships.
That's really powerful. I mean, you read about kids like Susie, 12 years old in one report, saying she just couldn't imagine life without Snapchat. For her group chats, calls. It's their social hub.
Exactly. It's central.
And it's not just connection, is it? A majority, over 70% 11 to 18-year-olds, actually say they feel more confident talking online than face-to-face.
Yeah, that's a striking finding.
Especially the reports note, for LGBTQ plus youth. They often find really vital, supportive communities online that maybe they just can't find easily offline.
That point about confidence and finding those supportive communities, it's incredibly significant, particularly for groups who might feel marginalized offline. It really shows the internet's power for, well, belonging, self-expression.
Yeah.
It's not just consuming stuff, it's about making connections, forming identity.
And it's not only social stuff either. Parents see the upside too. Over half think online activity helps their kids develop creative skills.
Mm-hmm.
And you see it in the numbers. 4 to 5 kids, aged 3 to 17, are doing creative things online, like adding funny filters to photos or making digital drawings, that kind of thing.
Yes, and that really speaks to the idea of applying knowledge, doesn't it? It's not just passive. The online space is genuinely empowering kids to create, to develop skills, even find really niche knowledge.
Yeah, like that AI stat.
Exactly. Over a third of 8 to 17s are already using artificial intelligence for learning things, for helping with school assignments. It's happening now.
It's amazing, like 16-year-old Ben in one report, using TikTok not just for laughs, but to find basketball tips, drills, from people who really know their stuff.
Expert creators.
It becomes this dynamic, personalized learning space, tapping right into their interests.
Precisely. And that highlights that core idea. Knowledge is most useful when you understand it and apply it. These positive uses are so crucial for building real media literacy, moving beyond just watching to actually doing and learning.
Okay, so benefits are clear. Connection, creativity, learning. But here's where we need to pivot, because we have to look at the more concerning side of things too.
Right, the darker side.
And the research here paints a pretty stark picture, starting with something like cyberbullying.
Yes. And what makes cyberbullying so insidious, so different from traditional bullying, is how relentless it is.
Relentless. Yeah.
It's 24/7. It follows you home, into your bedroom. It's often inescapable. Plus, you add in things like anonymity, the fact that stuff stays online forever.
The permanent.
And the psychological harm can be really, really profound. We're seeing clear links in the research to more anxiety, more depression, really poor self-esteem, and even, tragically, thoughts of suicide.
And it's not rare, is it? The prevalence seems alarming. About a third of kids, 8 to 17, say they've seen worrying or nasty stuff online in the last year.
1 in 3, yeah.
And there's a definite gender difference here. Girls are more likely than boys to get nasty or hurtful messages, texts, or social media comments.
That's consistent across studies.
And it gets worse for older girls. Those aged 16 to 18 face way more uncomfortable contact, like getting sent unwanted nude pictures. The rate is almost 3 times higher than for boys their age.
That specific vulnerability for older girls online is such a critical finding. It really points to the different and often heightened risks they face in these digital spaces.
Yeah.
And it's not just the outright nasty stuff, it's also the sheer weight of social pressure online. That takes a massive toll, too.
Absolutely. Think about this stat. 4 in 10 young people agree that people are mean or unkind to each other on social media.
40%, just accepting it as mean.
And this one blows my mind. Almost 9 out of 10, 87%, feel pressure to be popular online.
Immense pressure.
And the research directly links how often you check social media with how distressed you feel. Like 13-year-olds checking 50 to 100 times a day, 37% more distressed. Over 100 times a day, nearly 50% more distressed.
That constant checking, that constant engagement, it can spiral very quickly into what experts are calling social media addiction.
Addiction, yeah.
And adolescents seem to be at the highest risk. It works like other behavioral addictions. You know, the brain's reward pathways get fired up by likes, comments, positive feedback.
The dopamine hit.
Exactly, that little high. And the worry is that this could actually be sort of rewiring the developing brain to expect instant gratification, creating a cycle that's really hard to break.
And then there's this other really interesting, almost paradoxical thing, the well-being apps. Loads of older teens, over 70%, use apps for health, for well-being.
Things for relaxation, mood improvement.
Right. But then you dig into it, and the actual effectiveness or even the impact of that content seems questionable sometimes.
That's a great point. It is a paradox, isn't it? On one side, kids are actively looking for self-care tools, which seems positive.
Yeah, you'd think so.
But on the other side, like the sources show, the content can be unhelpful, sometimes actively unhelpful. Like Alice, 17, finding eating disorder recovery content made things worse.
Right.
Or Ben, the 16-year-old basketball fan, also watching videos on how to grow taller or how to get a defined jaw. You have to wonder about the quality of that advice.
Yeah, and the impact on their self-image chasing these things.
Exactly.
So what's fascinating here, as you say, is this really complex mix. Kids want connection, they want self-improvement, but they're bumping up against harm, against bad information.
Hmm.
And it feels like the very design of these platforms, with algorithms pushing engagement, might actually make it worse, amplifying negativity, creating this constant need for outside validation.
Precisely. And that raises a really important question. How on earth do we help them build critical thinking skills, real resilience, when the environment itself can kind of work against that?
Especially when, what was it, a third of older teens think people should just be allowed to say whatever they want online, even if it upsets others.
Right. It points to this fundamental tension online, doesn't it, between free expression and preventing harm. Where's that line? It's so blurry.
Okay, so beyond the social side, kids are also just consuming vast amounts of information online. But how good are they really at telling what's real from what's fake, or what's trying to manipulate them?
Yeah, this is another major hurdle for digital literacy. Now, on the surface, it looks okay. About 6 in 10 kids aged 8 to 17 know that algorithms are directing content to them.
Okay, so some awareness there.
And that number goes up for older teens, nearly 3/4 of 16, 17s. But while younger kids are kind of happy for apps to use their data, older teens get less comfortable.
Right.
Yet a third of all kids are just unsure how they feel about it. That suggests the awareness is maybe a bit superficial. They know the word algorithm, but maybe not the full implications of data use.
So they know it exists, but don't quite get the whole picture of their digital footprint and how it's used. What about trusting sources? Are they savvy there?
They are somewhat discerning, yes. They trust social media way less, only about a third. Think most content there is true compared to, say, news sites or school websites, which they trust much more.
Okay, that's encouraging.
But this leads us to what I kind of think of as the savvy myth. You see, 7 out of 10 older kids say they're confident they can spot fake stuff online.
Right, they feel confident.
Exactly. But when you actually test them, maybe with a fake social media profile, about 1 in 5 of those confident kids can't actually do it.
Oh, wow. So confidence doesn't equal competence.
Not at all. And interestingly, older teens actually reported feeling less confident this year compared to last year, so maybe there's a growing awareness of the difficulty.
That's interesting. A gap between feeling smart online and actually being smart online. And what about commercial stuff? Ads, influencers.
Another tricky area, fewer than half of kids who use search engines can reliably spot the paid-for ads at the top.
Even though they're usually marked.
Often subtly, yes. And with influencers, while most older teens can recognize a paid post is paid,
Okay.
a significant minority, particularly girls, still believe the influencer genuinely liked the product anyway. They saw the hashtag ad, but still thought the endorsement was authentic.
So the persuasion still works, even when they know it's an ad.
It seems so. And if you connect all this to the bigger picture, the real challenge isn't just basic awareness like knowing algorithms exist. It's about a much deeper understanding.
Understanding the mechanics,
Yeah,
the motives.
exactly. The mechanics, the commercial drivers behind what they see, especially when platforms like TikTok are now the main news source for 12 to 15-year-olds.
Wow, TikTok for news.
Yeah. And many kids struggle to check if information is true or even spot online advertising reliably. It just highlights this massive, urgent need for really good digital literacy education.
Like that 14-year-old Niam, who said she bought stuff from influencers just because it looks really good in their videos.
It's not just about spotting fake news headlines anymore. It's about understanding the whole ecosystem of online influence and persuasion.
So given all this complexity, all these risks alongside the benefits, what are the adults doing? What role are parents, schools, even the tech companies playing in trying to keep kids safe? Parental worry must be sky high.
It absolutely is, and you see that clearly in the data. Top worries for parents, inappropriate content, seeing adult or sexual stuff, cyberbullying, content promoting self-harm.
All the things we've just talked about.
Exactly. Plus extreme views and how their child's data is being collected. These are very real, very pressing fears.
And those fears must lead to struggles at home, right? Like managing screen time.
Oh, definitely. Almost 4 in 10 parents say they find it hard to control their child's screen time.
Nearly half for parents of older teens.
Yes, it gets harder as they get older. But what's interesting is that the kids often agree. A good chunk of older teens, 44%, feel their own screen time is too high. So it's a shared feeling of maybe being overwhelmed.
A shared struggle. Okay, and what about rules, like age limits for social media? Do parents know them? Enforce them?
Well, most parents, 84%, know there are age limits,
Yeah.
but only a third actually know the common one is 13.
Only a third.
Yep. And Here's a slightly worrying trend. More parents, especially those with younger kids, say they'd let a child have an underage profile anyway.
Really? Why?
Maybe it's a sense of inevitability, like all their friends are doing it, so.
Mm.
But this is happening more now than in 2022.
So there's this weird mix of knowing the rules, but maybe feeling resigned. But despite that, you said parents are actually putting more rules in place overall.
Yes, that's the counterpoint. Almost all parents, 94%, now have at least one online rule. That's up from 91% in 2022.
Okay.
And specifically for older teens, 16, 17s, parents are actually setting more rules now about specific apps, what they can share. They're even supervising them more directly.
Supervising 16, 17-year-olds more.
A bit more, yeah. And maybe that's linked to trust. Fewer parents now say they trust their older teens to be sensible online compared to 2022. Trust levels seem to have dipped.
That's a really telling shift. What about schools? Are they picking up the slack with safety education?
Well, most kids, 93%, remember having some kind of online safety lesson at school, so the message is getting out there.
Okay, that's good.
But only about 30% remember having regular lessons. And the research shows those regular lessons are way more effective. Kids find them much more useful than just a one-off assembly.
Right. Consistency matters. And when things do go wrong, if a child sees something worrying, do they tell their parents?
Mm-hmm.
And what happens then?
This is another gap. Only about 1 in 5 kids actually tells a parent when they see something worrying online.
Only 20%. That seems low.
It does. And when they do tell, parents usually react well. They talk to them, suggest blocking the person or content, maybe stop them using the app for a bit.
Okay.
But only about a third of those parents then actually report the harmful content to the platform itself.
So the platform often doesn't even know it happened.
Exactly. The loop isn't closed.
So this raises a really big question, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
How do we bridge that gap between parents being really worried, but maybe not intervening effectively, or kids being reluctant to report things, especially if they fear getting punished, like losing internet access?
It really highlights what the sources call a need for a multifaceted and collaborative strategy. There's no single magic bullet.
Right.
It needs open communication in families where kids feel safe talking without fear of just having their phone taken away. It needs robust, regular education in schools, not just one-offs. And crucially, it needs real ethical responsibility from the tech companies themselves. Especially now with things like AI and deepfakes emerging as new tools for cyberbullying, they can make harmful content even more sophisticated, harder to spot.
So it's everyone's job, basically. Families, schools, tech platforms.
It has to be a collective effort. It can't just be on the shoulders of parents or teachers or even the kids themselves.
Okay. Well, our deep dive today, it really shows just how dramatically different children's online lives are now, even compared to just a few years ago.
Absolutely.
It's this incredibly dynamic, really complex space. It offers amazing opportunities, connection, creativity, learning. But at the same time, there are really significant risks to mental health, to safety, to just being able to sort fact from fiction.
Yeah, it's a true double-edged sword. Requires constant, careful navigation.
From everyone involved.
Exactly. The data consistently points to this rapidly changing environment. Kids are navigating these incredibly complex digital worlds, but often with, well, different levels of understanding and protection. And that responsibility for making it safer, making it more positive, it doesn't just fall on the kids, it's on parents, it's on educators, and yes, it's definitely on the tech platforms themselves to keep adapting to respond effectively.
It's about building a future where those amazing benefits of being connected really do outweigh the, frankly, quite considerable risks.
That's the goal.
So, as we wrap up, let's leave you, our listener, with a thought. AI is advancing incredibly quickly. It's becoming more and more integrated into everything we do.
No stopping it.
So, the question is, how can we proactively use its potential? Leverage AI for safety, for education, for kids online, instead of just reacting when it's misused to create new kinds of online harm for the next generation.
That's a powerful question to consider.
Something to think about. The possibilities and the responsibilities that come with them.